Hey there, Duelist, it's Girbeagly, and today I'm talking to you about the recently released game, Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel: Dawn of the Battle Royale. This game is available on the Nintendo Switch exclusively as a digital download, and it features a brand new cast of characters as well as a simplified dueling system. As a long-term Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan, I'm really excited for this game because it keeps a lot of the mechanics that a lot of us are familiar with already, but is also accessible enough for brand new players. So beginners, you're welcome to join in as well. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the three major types of cards that you can find in Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel: Dawn of the Battle Royale, including monster cards, spell cards, and trap cards. Monster cards are the main cards that you'll be using to try to win the game with. Not only are these monsters amazing to look at, but they also are capable of dealing massive amounts of damage to your opponents while defending you from taking life point damage. All monster cards have a name, attack stat, defense stat, level, type, and attribute. Some special types of monsters called effect monsters even have effects on the card themselves and are represented by an orange border that gives them extra special powers. If you summon the right type of monster, you can completely turn the tide of battle and send your opponent running for the hills. Spells and trap cards are basically there to support all of your monsters with various effects during your match. Spell cards are used during your turn and can be activated then, while trap cards, on the other hand, are used during either player's turn but must be set face down first, and you can't use them until the next turn. This level of strategy makes it a little bit harder to use, but once you master them, they can completely take your opponent off guard. Each spell, trap, and effect monster card also has two different parts that you should take notice of. The first part is the requirement, and it's what is needed to activate the actual card and its effect. This could include things like your opponent summoning a monster, or you having to pay a certain number of life points, or discarding some of your own hand into the graveyard. Once these requirements are met, you're able to activate the effects of the cards and utilize their abilities against your opponents. Effects themselves are what happen when those cards resolve. While spell or trap cards will go to the graveyard while the effect finishes, monsters get to stay on the field and continue to wreak some delicious havoc. Another type of card that Rush Duel features is called the Field Spell card. Field spells provide a special effect that's continuous and is always applied as long as the field spell is in the zone. But be careful, because both players can actually have field spell cards on the field at the same time, and those effects will normally affect both players' monsters. So if you don't have a firm strategy in place, there's a very good chance that you mess up things for yourself if you're not careful. That's unfortunately all the time that I have for today's breakdown video, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel: Dawn of the Battle Royale is available on Nintendo Switch as an exclusive download title. Check it out today, and see you in the next one, Duelists. What's up, Duelists? It's Girbeagly, and today I'm talking to you again about the recently released Nintendo Switch exclusive Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel: Dawn of the Battle Royale. In the last video, we talked about the different types of cards that you can play in Rush Duel, and in this video, we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite aspect of Rush Duel, which is rush dueling. In Rush Duel, there are 3 monster zones, 3 spell or trap zones, an extra deck zone, and a field spell zone. At the start of each match, both players start with 8,000 LP or life points and draw 4 cards in their opening hand. The goal of each match is to get your opponent's LP down to 0. You can do this by summoning and attacking with monsters, activating spell cards, and stopping your opponent with trap cards. Each player's turn is broken down into 4 phases: a draw phase, a main phase, a battle phase, and an end phase. At the beginning of each draw phase, you get to draw cards until you have 5 total in your hand, even during the first turn of the duel. Players should attempt to play every card in their hand, because the more cards that you play, the more new cards you'll be able to draw in your next draw phase. In the event that you have 5 or more cards at the start of your turn, you only have to draw 1 card, and there is no maximum hand size. The next phase is called the main phase. During the main phase, you can actually summon any number of monsters that you have. as long as you meet the requirements. Any level 4 or lower monsters can be summoned or set for free. When you summon a monster, it appears face up in attack position, or you can opt to set it face down in defense position. Any level 5 or 6 monsters require a tribute, where you send one of the monsters you control from the field to the graveyard to summon a more powerful monster. Monsters level 7 or higher require 2 tribute monsters to be sent to the graveyard, but they come with unique effects that are incredible to witness. During the main phase, you can also activate spell cards in your hand or use monster effects as well. Next comes up the battle phase, my favorite phase. This is where you get to attack with your monsters. When you choose to attack, you pick one of your monsters to do battle with one of your opponent's monsters. If your opponent's monster was set face down, this is the time that it gets flipped over so that you can see who you're fighting. If both monsters are in attack position, compare the attack of your monster to the attack of the opponent's monster. Whichever monster has the higher attack wins the battle, and the difference in attack points becomes the damage to the player that lost the battle. Any monsters that lose a battle are sent to the graveyard. Meanwhile, if you attack a monster that was set or put in defense position, the enemy player takes no damage, but the monster is still destroyed. However, if your attacking monster has less attack points than your opponent's monster's defense points, your attacking monster loses the battle, and you take life point damage equal to the difference. In these cases, no monsters are destroyed in the battle. Once you've cleared your opponent's side of the field of defending monsters, you're able to do direct damage to your opponent. In these cases, the entire attack value of your monsters will be taken away from your opponent's life points. Once all attacks and effects have resolved, the match enters the end phase. While typically this is how you end your turn, there are some special cards that can only be used during the end phase. Once the phase is over, it's your opponent's turn, and they get to do the same to you. That was unfortunately all the time that I have today to talk about Rush Duel and how to play a match, but with these basics, you should be able to go out there and take down some opponents. Hopefully some of you will join me for the next video where we can talk about how to build a deck and the strategies surrounding that. Until then, have a great time dueling. What's up, duelists? It's Girbeagly again to talk to you about the recently released Nintendo Switch exclusive Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel Dawn of the Battle Royale. In today's video, I'm going to specifically be teaching you how to build a deck so that you can get a strategic advantage over your opponents. To build a main deck, you're going to need between 40 to 60 cards. Monster, spell, and trap cards go into this main deck, but be aware you can only have a maximum of 3 copies of any card in your deck. To make sure that your deck is efficient and balanced, try to create one with half monsters and half spells and trap cards. Generally, you'll want more level 4 or lower monsters that can be summoned without a tribute so that you can use them to tribute summon your level 5 or higher monsters. When building your deck, try to focus around a theme that cards in your deck have in common with each other, or focus around a specific strategy that will win you the game. For example, Seven's Road Magician's effect gets more powerful when your graveyard has more monsters with different attributes. So to help power up Seven's Road Magician, you want to have a lot of different monsters with different attributes in your deck. It also counts as a spellcaster, so using cards that support spellcasters would help it and other monsters in your deck as well. One of the most sought after types of cards in Rush Duel is what's called a legend card. These cards have a legend mark directly on the card and are so powerful and can easily turn the tide of a duel when used. Legend cards can be monsters, spells, or trap cards. However, because these cards are so powerful, you may only use one legend card in your deck and only one copy of that card. For instance, if you choose to use Blue Eyes White Dragon, that means that you cannot also add Dark Magician to your deck. A bummer to me because I love both of those cards, but unfortunately, you gotta keep things fair for your opponent. That said, those are just the basics of deck building. When it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel Dawn of the Battle Royale, there are so many different strategies that you can implement that are so fun and allow you to toy around with different mechanics in the game. Hopefully with the tips that I've given you in this video and the others, you'll be able to put together something amazing to take your opponents off guard and become a Rush Duel legend. And until then, keep practicing, keep dueling, and keep having fun.